I had spent the entire afternoon hunting for the perfect gift. Something meaningful. Something that said, "I still see you." My wife, Rachel, had been distant for months. I told myself it was just work stress. Tonight was her company's annual gala, a black-tie affair filled with people who admired themselves too much and drank to prove it. I never enjoyed those nights, but I went every year because she wanted me to. This year, though, she hadn't asked. I checked my watch in the parking lot, holding a small silver-wrapped box. She only mentioned the event 2 days ago, casually, more like a passing remark than an invite. "It's nothing special this year," she said, eyes glued to her phone. "Just work stuff." Still, something urged me to go. Maybe I wanted her to notice I still existed. The ballroom was in a downtown hotel, the kind with chandeliers like cascading glass rain and an air scented with perfume and wealth. I stepped inside, gift in hand, feeling like an outsider. I spotted her immediately. She looked radiant, hair elegantly up, wearing the navy dress I'd bought for our anniversary 2 years ago. For a fleeting moment, pride pushed away the unease. That was my wife. Then I heard her laugh, not the restrained, polite laugh she reserved for colleagues. This was warm, free, the kind she used to save for me. And the man beside her, tall, self-assured, hand lightly resting on her back, as if he owned the space. He was the reason. A cold weight clenched my chest. I stayed in the crowd, blending in with the chatter and servers passing by. My mind raced, searching for explanations. Perhaps it was innocent. Perhaps I was imagining it. But then I saw her lean in when he spoke, her fingers brushing his sleeve, her smile soft and familiar. 8 years of marriage taught me there's no mistaking that kind of touch. The gift felt heavier now. I glanced at it, an engraved bracelet with the coordinates of where we first met. Hours of searching, hoping to remind her of happier times. Before her phone became more important than our dinners. Before silence replaced laughter. She didn't notice me at first. I watched her cling glasses with him, her hand lingering a moment too long. The room blurred. Music, laughter, clattering plates. Everything faded into dull, white noise. When she finally saw me, her expression froze. A flicker of guilt flashed across her face, too brief for anyone else to catch. But I did. I'd seen it once before, years ago, over some minor lie. She approached, smiling that practiced smile she used to control situations. "Ethan, I didn't know you were coming." Her voice unnaturally bright. I held up the box. Surprise. Her eyes darted to him, then back to me. "Oh, this is unexpected," he said, extending a hand. "Aaron," he added smoothly. "We work together, right?" I shook it. His grip was firm, too confident. "I've heard the name," I said. Rachel laughed nervously. "He's just a colleague, Ethan." "Of course." I forced a smile. "Just a colleague?" The silence answered for her. I set the gift beside her glass. "This is for you," I murmured. "Guess I'll leave it here, Ethan." But I didn't. I left the ballroom without looking back. My heart pounded in a rhythm that no longer belonged to love. Outside, the winter air bit my face. I stood there, replaying every detail until it felt like punishment. Then my phone buzzed, a message from her. "It's not what it looked like. Please come back." My fingers shook. For the first time in 8 years, I didn't know if I wanted to. I didn't reply. I just stared at the glow of my phone, breath fogging in the cold. "It's not what it looked like." How many times had I heard that line in movies, stories that never ended well? I thought my marriage was different. But standing there, I understood, love doesn't shatter in a single instant. It erodes quietly, piece by piece, until nothing remains. I drove home in silence, ignoring the radio. Each red light stretched longer than the last. At our driveway, her car sat there. She must have left after me. I thought about driving past, letting distance speak. But part of me needed to hear her say it, to see if she would deny it. She waited in the kitchen, heels off, makeup smudged, looking smaller, vulnerable. "Ethan, please," she began, voice soft, almost rehearsed. "It wasn't what you think." I set my keys down. "Then tell me what I think." She twisted her hands together. Aaron and we've been working closely on a project. He's just very friendly, very touchy. I interrupted. Very personal, she flinched. You're twisting it. No, Rachel, I said quietly. You did it yourself. She sank into a chair, confidence unraveling. I hadn't planned it. It just happened. We spent hours together, and I felt seen again. That word, seen, struck deeper than betrayal. It was what I'd been trying to give her for months. But she decided my attention no longer mattered. So, you cheated because you felt unseen? I asked calmly. Her eyes welled. I'm not proud. It wasn't physical. Not yet. I swear. I laughed bitterly. Not yet. That's reassuring. She reached out, fingers trembling. Please don't walk away. It was a mistake. I studied her, the woman I thought I'd grow old with. You know, I said finally, I spent the whole day searching for something to remind you of how we began. I wanted you to remember that spark. Turns out you found a new one instead. Her voice cracked. Ethan, please. But I had already turned away. That night, I packed silently. She followed, apologizing, begging, promising, but every word sounded hollow. No fight remained in me, only clarity. At the door, she whispered, Are you really leaving? I paused. I think you left a long time ago. I'm just catching up. The click of the door felt final. I checked into a small hotel across town, a quiet place where no one asks questions. The room was cold, the bed stiff, but it was mine. For the first time in years, silence didn't hurt. It healed. The next morning, messages flooded in, apologies, promises, explanations. I didn't respond. I scrolled through old photos, smiles frozen, laughter that no longer belonged to us. Somewhere in those memories, I realized love doesn't always end with anger. Sometimes it ends with exhaustion. 2 weeks later, a small package arrived, my bracelet from the party, still wrapped, unopened. No note. I returned it to the drawer, not in bitterness, but as a reminder. Neglected love doesn't die with noise. It fades quietly until one day you offer a gift and realize the person it was meant for isn't yours anymore. That night, I sat by the window, city lights flickering like distant stars. For the first time in months, I didn't feel broken. I felt free. Sometimes the most painful goodbyes aren't screamed or begged for. They're whispered in silence when you finally choose yourself over the ghost of what once was. Watching the city breathe, I knew I'd never enter a ballroom hoping to be noticed again. I'd walk into the next chapter knowing I was enough, even if it took losing her to finally see it.